$100 Ashley Cash. Thursday only at Ashley.
Okay, if you watch us on a regular basis, you know how much we love stories where life kind of hits people with a curveball and they take a turn and find out they have a hidden talent, another passion that not only inspires them, but other people. So I'm going to step over myself. I'm just warning you with this next interview because Christiane Palpant, or Palpant, embraces all of it. The French in me came out. The thing I want you to know about Christiane is that you're going to be seeing a lot of her. You would probably say, just a woman, first and foremost. Life threw you a massive curveball.
Ooh.
I'll let you tell the story, but out of it has blossomed this beautiful story
that
you're taking across the country.
Yes, it has been a really wild couple of years. And I was just sharing with you that for 25 years, I was in a corporate, buttoned up, blue pinstripe suit, financial services career. Visiting banks all over the United States. And I was at a client dinner a couple of years ago in Portland, Maine, of all places, and had a near-death experience. And that's when life just stops in its tracks, and all of a sudden, all of the planes, trains, and automobiles stop, and then you just sit with yourself.
Right.
It was right before COVID. So now all of us can identify with that, right? Because the whole world stopped during COVID. Well, the year before COVID, my whole life stopped and I was put on bed rest. Now, if you know me well, my parents, when they used to punish me, would put me in a chair because I don't like to sit still.
Okay.
I'm not a sit still kind of person. So that's been my journey during this time, is learning to be still. And so I really asked myself while I was on bed rest, what can I do to stay mentally strong, to stay emotionally strong? Because otherwise, what are you going to do in bed, on bed rest for a long period of time?
Right.
So I picked up a paintbrush. Now, I was not really an artist before that. I thought of myself as Jackson Pollock. I had a few art supplies at my house. And so as a catharsis from my left brain job, I would just throw paint at the canvas.
Yeah.
More is really just a psychological, really truly catharsis. But it was during that time on bed rest that I really began intentionally putting my emotions on the canvas. And strangely enough, that first year I painted 60 paintings.
Wow.
And a gallery in New York City emailed me and said, we'd like to represent you.
So I'll kind of help you push it along. That happened. Since you are not one who likes to sit still, your vision for it did not sit still.
No.
So now flash forward to now, and you have purchased a van that you lovingly call Millie.
Millie, or Millicent. So the name came from, there's a game called Masterpiece that mimics a Sotheby's fine art auction. And my persona for that game was Millicent. So the van's name is Millicent, and I am taking her around the country to paint in all 50 states. So she's a rolling studio on wheels.
You're also hoping, and I don't know if this is while you're on this journey or in a later time to come, to have a voice to share other women's stories, because you realize that you're not exactly alone.
I am definitely not alone. There are millions of women out there who have had life-changing experiences that have exhibited so much courage that has ultimately changed the trajectory of their lives. So while I'm rolling around all 50 states, I want to take that time and find those stories and share those stories of courage.
You know, when I think about you, and I didn't see this happen in your life, but the idea of being on this bed rest and beginning to first pick up that paintbrush with a purpose this time, not just throwing it.
Right.
That must have been a little bit frightening, because as women, I think a lot of us are go, 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 and your thoughts always go to somebody other than yourself. To then turn completely introspective must have been a little bit frightening.
It is frightening. And I would find myself recoiling from the canvas.
Really?
And I would, yes, because it is terrifying to put yourself out there.
You were exposed.
Exactly. And I would really, so I paint abstract landscapes, and that's really a part of it, is that emotion onto the canvas. And sometimes when I finish a painting, I will cry in my chair and just looking at it going, this is exactly how I feel.
Wow. So you and I were talking beforehand. We don't have to say if you don't want to, but we are the same age.
Yes, we are the same age.
And I have found that just in my journey in my 50s, sorry, just
yeah, well,
you.
52,
same here,
claim it.
that there's an internal shift in me. And I'm asking you this because my kids are getting older, and so I find more and more I am alone with myself and this kind of gnawing of who am I. Do you think providentially, if this had happened in your life at an earlier time, the experience might have not been the same? Like, did it happen at the right time for you?
It happened at the right time because I was ready to quiet my mind. Someone posted on Facebook yesterday, quiet the mind so you can hear the heart.
Yeah.
That's what that period was all about, quieting the mind so I could hear the heart.
I don't know when you were in your financial world how much of a social media hashtagger you were, but you've become one. You've become one now, so that's the easiest way is, and we'll show you in a minute, but it's just to look up her name and there you'll find her. But you have a hashtag Millie Van Masterpiece, is that right?
Millie is short for Millicent, Van for the van, and Masterpiece.
Are you hoping that as people follow you on there, then women can feel free to reach out to you to say, hey?
Yes, yes. So I've had people ask me, how will you find these stories? I know people in 47 states whose stories I want to share, but there's a lot of organic stories too that will come just from conversations like you and I are having, or people that are watching this that will want to reach out and say, let's talk,
right,
and share the story.
I only have a minute left. I hope it's okay for me to say that you're heading from here eventually down to Orlando.
Correct.
PBS is talking to you.
That's right, that's right. And so I'm looking forward to sharing the story there.
If there was a takeaway, I guess, to remind people they might not ever be the woman profiled on your social media page, is it just to honor your own story, each of us?
Each story. It's more than just one person. It is a collective journey that is really so exciting to me.
And by the way, is your artwork for sale?
Oh, it is, yeah. It's on exhibition right now at Agora Gallery in New York City. They also have a digital representation of my artwork. So yes, and in fact, I have 2 paintings now hanging as of last week in a restaurant in New York City.
How very lovely. So here is her name, Christiane Palpant, or Palpant, P-A-L-P-A-N-T. Google her, you will not be sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Your healthy skin. That's our mission at Chattanooga Skin and Cancer Clinic.
I advocate for the patient to get them the drug that's right for them.
Appointments available now. Chattanooga, Cleveland, and Jasper. Call or visit chatskinandcancer.com.
In the last year, there was a victim of identity theft every 3 seconds. Could it happen to you?
Somebody used my identification and they had actually purchased the car and drove it off the lot. I didn't know what to do, but